Hello. The coronavirus spread across most of the world, causing panic in many countries. If we trace its path step by step and look for the reason it spread among humans, we'll find that its main source was bats. Similarly, in 2013, an Ebola outbreak occurred in Guinea. The virus spread extremely fast and reached neighboring countries like Liberia and Sierra Leone. More than 11,000 people lost their lives because of it, and its source was also bats. The respiratory syndrome virus, Nipah virus, Hendra virus, Marburg virus, SARS, and Ebola are considered some of the world's most dangerous viruses. The main host for all of them has been bats. Bats carry the highest number of animal-borne viruses compared to any other mammal, almost like a massive reservoir of diseases. More than 100 infectious diseases have emerged worldwide, and when scientists trace their origins, many led back to bats. But why exactly are bats so closely linked to viruses and outbreaks? Why do they always seem to be involved? Even more puzzling, despite carrying such dangerous viruses, bats themselves don't get sick from them. Welcome to Ask Away channel. In today's episode, we'll answer the question, why do bats carry so many viruses? Before we dive in, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss a video. Bats are found almost everywhere in the world, and they play a vital role in maintaining environmental balance. They help pollinate fruit trees and feed on insects, doing their job perfectly. In fact, some of your favorite fruits, like mangoes, bananas, and guavas, wouldn't be as abundant without bats. That's because they assist in pollinating the trees that produce these fruits. Despite being peaceful creatures, bats are constantly linked to outbreaks and diseases. Their bodies carry many viruses, and the scientific community often sees them as silent specters, floating through the air and spreading infections wherever they go or whatever they touch, a dangerous biological weapon, constantly launching outbreaks without pause. This raises the question, why bats specifically? Why do they carry such a massive number of diseases? Why not rabbits, cats, or even dogs? After all, they're all mammals too. Bats stand out when it comes to carrying dangerous viruses, almost like the main character of the virus world. There are several reasons for this. First, bats are naturally social creatures. If you enter a bat roost, you might find hundreds, if not thousands, of bats living together in the same space, all hanging upside down in perfect harmony. The real danger is that if just one bat in the entire group carries an infection or virus, it can quickly spread to all the others. What's even more concerning is that different bat species can coexist without any issues, unlike many other animals. This increases the chance of viruses being passed between species since each bat type may carry unique infections based on their biological makeup. At night, each bat species arrives carrying its own viruses and diseases, then mixes with other species that have different infections. This constant interaction leads to a massive pool of shared pathogens, all because bats are social creatures. The second and even more shocking reason bats are so linked to diseases is that they don't get sick from the viruses they carry at all. A bat can host a deadly virus and still live as if nothing is wrong. This is extremely rare in the animal kingdom and far from normal. Think back to the bird flu outbreak from years ago. The main hosts were birds like ducks and chickens. When infected, they showed clear symptoms. Their color changed, they stopped eating, and eventually died because the virus directly affected them. But bats, that's not how it works for them. A bat can carry a lethal virus and still live normally. So that raises another big question. Why don't bats get sick from the viruses inside their bodies? How can they host so many deadly diseases and still go on like nothing's wrong? What's their secret? The secret lies in the energy bats use while flying. Bats are the only mammals capable of sustained flight over long distances, and this requires an enormous amount of energy. The continuous high-energy exertion leads to the production of waste particles in their cells, known as free radicals. These free radicals cause oxidative stress, damaging the bat's DNA. To counter this dangerous issue, the bat's body constantly releases special substances that protect its DNA from harm. Fortunately, These substances also come with antiviral agents that attack invading viruses. This is the reason bats don't get sick from the infections they carry. Their bodies are always producing virus-fighting agents, so whenever a virus tries to harm their cells, these defenses block it instantly. This unique ability makes bats one of the longest-living mammals compared to others. Even more remarkably, they don't develop cancer. Some scientists and researchers suggest that bats could hold the key to developing new medicines for deadly viruses and outbreaks. They believe that if we can identify the chemical compounds bats use to fight infections, we could create treatments based on the same substances, helping cure countless diseases. The reasons we've mentioned already are more than enough to make bats a massive reservoir for viruses and diseases. But there's another major factor that strengthens their role. One of the effects of their constant movement is that their body temperature rises significantly, often reaching around 40 degrees, 100 degrees, under 4 degrees. This specific temperature leads us to two key conclusions. First, most common viruses, especially those that infect mammals, require a specific temperature range to survive. That range is usually not very high. Only a small percentage of viruses can adapt to extreme heat and continue thriving. This ability is rare and only found in viruses that can withstand high temperatures, making them exceptionally strong and dangerous. This means the viruses that infect bats are especially powerful because they've adapted to survive in a high-temperature environment. As a result, bats aren't just a source of viruses like other mammals. They are a source of particularly dangerous viruses. The second key factor related to bats' high body temperature is that it closely matches the normal human body temperature around 37.5 degrees 99.5 degrees. This means that viruses originating from bats have no trouble surviving inside a human body since the temperature environments are so similar. As a result, the transmission of viruses from bats to humans is relatively easy. Now, let's ask another question. If we completely avoid bats, does that mean we eliminate the risk of infection? In reality, no. The viruses that bats carry don't necessarily jump directly to humans. Sometimes, they take a longer route before reaching us. Their route often involves other wild animals. A bat might come into contact with a sheep, a cat, or a horse, either directly or by leaving traces like droppings in an area that these animals frequent. If a human later interacts with one of these animals, and that animal has been in contact with an infected bat, the virus can then pass to the human. Take Ebola as an example. It was originally found in bats, but it didn't just pose a threat to humans. It was also dangerous to animals, like chimpanzees and gorillas. Because of this risk, health organizations issued warnings to local communities in Guinea and other African countries, advising them to avoid contact with wild animals like chimpanzees due to the possibility of infection. In reality, bats aren't always the main culprit. Humans frequently invade their habitats and disrupt the balance of wildlife, which unfortunately leads to negative consequences for everyone. Take Malaysia, for example. Farmers expanded into tropical areas where bats and other animals lived, turning the land into large pig farms for commercial purposes. The unexpected result? The first recorded outbreak of the Nipah virus in humans. Bats were carrying the virus, and when pigs entered their environment, the infection spread to them naturally. Each pig unknowingly became a ticking time bomb. No one realized they were carrying the virus. Of course, these pigs were then sold and transported to different locations. And you can probably guess how the rest of the scenario unfolded. A similar situation happened in Australia, but in a different way. The Hendra virus spread there because people destroyed the bats' natural habitat, cutting down trees and settling in their environment. As a result, the bats migrated and searched for new food sources. Unfortunately, they turned to fruits and crops found in residential areas, which led to the spread of infection. And if we look at the trajectory of the coronavirus, we'll see that its origin was linked to the wildlife trade in Wuhan, China. Unfortunately, one of the wild animals present in that market was a bat, once again taking the blame as the primary suspect. If humans had left bats alone and avoided disturbing their environment, maybe the world would have been living in peace today. And that's how we answered today's question. Why do bats carry so many viruses? What topic should we cover in our next videos? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and hit the notification bell so you never miss our latest upload.